again, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. I am half of that crew. I am your host, Scott Steen, lead handicapper at winnersandwhiners.com.
And I'm your co-host, Scott Rochelle, senior handicapper over winnersandwhiners.com.
And together we do this every day, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, trying to help you in that never-ending journey to head back to the window. As you might know, there's a gigantic head in the middle of your screen. That is the one, the only Chris King. I just did Chris's show with him. He said, "You want me to stop by and talk to you guys?" I go, "Yeah, no, that's all right." He said, "No, seriously, I'll do it." And I say, "Okay, well, whatever." So Chris is here. He's checking in on the show. Chris, how are you?
I'm seriously the giant talking head from Third Rock from the Sun, played by William Shatner.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Very, very good indeed. Scott, how did your day go yesterday?
Went pretty well. I ended up having a same-game parlay. I got inspired by the Just Parlay crew, and I did a same-game parlay that was 4 picks. Ended up winning. Paid out at about 6-1. So
sweet.
I'm coming for you, Chris. These parlays are expanding.
There's $30 in your pocket. Congratulations.
Is that before or after taxes?
No, I saw
in New York after taxes. You owe them $20.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
You sent me the ticket. You made what did you make? 6 bills?
About 700. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Very solid. Very solid indeed. And Chris, I already know how your day went. We already talked all that shit. So.
Yep.
Make sure you stop out and check out Chris's show, Just Parlays, and I'm lucky enough to be hosting that, having a great time as Chris lays out a bunch of different options for games
to confuse people.
Absolutely. So it's nice to have everybody aboard. Thanks for stopping by, of course, and we want you to smash that like button. Would you do that? Would you smash the like button, please? Just give us a little smash there. And of course, subscribe to the YouTube channels of Winners and Whiners and Max Wagers Network, our newest endeavor with the good folks over there at Picks and Parlays. So, yeah, nice to have you guys here. Thanks for stopping by. And don't forget to check out all the great deals that we got going on with our partners over there at DraftKings. You bet $5 on any Moneyline MLB game. And if you win it, you receive $200 in free bets at DraftKings. Great deal. Make sure you check that out. It's available only in, the states where DraftKings is, quite frankly. If you ever forget the list, it's one of my favorite things to do during the show. As I channel my inner Johnny Cash and tell you that I've been everywhere, man. And you must be in Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Iowa, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, Wyoming, or West Virginia. There you go. It didn't quite stream out with the Johnny Cash there. So, of course, you must be 21 years of age or older to play, except if you happen to be lucky enough to live in the state of New Hampshire. Is New Hampshire live free or die?
Yes.
All right. Live free or die. Fucking die if you can't live free. Just do it.
Hard.
Or go sports bet. Either way.
So live free, die hard. Good move.
It's a good day to die hard.
Yeah.
And Wyoming is the other 18 state because they figure Wyoming's the state where they just originally got rid of all their speed limits. Wyoming and Montana, you could just go like 100 miles an hour on the highway.
Yeah, the sad part is you can drive through Montana 100 miles an hour. It still takes you a week and a half to get through it.
Yep, it does. That is, man. People on the East Coast, if you've never left the East Coast and then you travel across the country, and you're like, well, I'm going to go to Washington, and you hit North Dakota, and you're like, well, I'm just about there. I'm 2 states away. And like, yeah, you're 3 fucking days away. So.
I drove from Seattle to Buffalo, and I got to after I came through Idaho, I got to the Montana border at like 5:30 in the morning, and I pulled off at 3:30 in the afternoon. I was like midway through the state.
Yeah, it's brutal. I made it.
I'm going like about 95 miles an hour.
I made a drive one time. I had a Sunday night show in Colorado Springs. I left after the show, and I had a Tuesday night show in Jamestown, New York.
I know where Jamestown, New York is.
That was the most brutal drive I've ever done, and as far as 2 days. Now I've done like New York City to Kansas City or Miami to Kansas City nonstop, which is like 24 hours. But that 2 day, man, it was a yanker. So anyway, nice to be here.
Where in the world were you doing a show at Jamestown? Where?
Gilligan's. I don't know how I remember that name. It was a bar called Gilligan's. It was a one-night stand. So
that's pretty much most of Jamestown.
Yeah. It was back in my younger days before I actually had much of a career when I could turn down gigs like that. So when my agent told me, okay, now you're going to be Tuesday night in Colorado or Sunday night in Colorado, Tuesday night in New York, I'm like, You got a map, right? You own a fucking map. We all used our Rand McNally's back in those days. And so anyway, I went on to get
And oddly enough, Scott, the commissioner of the National Football League is from Jamestown.
Is that right?
Didn't know that.
Yep. Roger Goodell.
Probably at the show. There you go. Scott, what are we doing at Caesars?
So we have a nice risk-free bet going for you. Still $1,100 first bet insurance. If you place a first-time wager up to $1,100, you get it back in the form of a free bet if it loses. So it's always nice to have insurance on your bet.
Yep, very good. And, of course, the codes to both of those are in the show description. The Caesars code is ATS wins Caesar, CZR, ATS WINS CZR, and that is in the show description. And the code for the DraftKings promo is WAW video, and the link and codes are both in the show description. Let's check in the comment section, see everybody here. Lex Steele is here. Parlay at the window. That's right. We're going to put all one shows together. Nathan Cerna says the New Mexico and Southwest are brutally long drives. Yes, also true. Going across I-40 there on Arizona and New Mexico, those are both brutal drives.
40 or 10?
What's that?
40 or 10?
No, it's not 10. No, it's 40.
Oh, I took I-10, through Arizona, Tucson, and everything.
10 takes you directly through Tucson. You got to go. The 40 will take you through Flagstaff and Tucumcari and Albuquerque and all that stuff.
So all the places no one wants to go.
Albuquerque's all right. Super Sly in the house. James S. in the house. Phoenix to New Mexico is so boring. Yes, it is. We drove to spring training. We stopped in Albuquerque before doing that drive. And you think, like, oh, fuck, I'm in New Mexico, so I'm almost there. Arizona's one state away. And again, we left like at 11 o'clock in the morning. We got to Phoenix at 7 at night. So, yeah, it's brutal. And it is a boring drive. The only thing exciting is when the wind's blowing and you see trucks blowing over because the wind will whip through there at all. Nathan says he's from Albuquerque. There you go. See? That's what you get for insulting Albuquerque, Chris.
I didn't insult it. I just said the place. I'm talking about Flagstaff. Flagstaff is boring. So is Kingman. I've been to Yuma going through at 9:30 in the morning when it's 130 degrees. You ever fry an egg on the hood of a Humvee that doesn't have glossy paint?
I've not done that. I usually use pans. Scott's been to Pennsylvania.
How mundane.
I've been to Pennsylvania a couple times, if that counts. But for Albuquerque, never been there. However,
Wisconsin the furthest west you've ever been, other than going to Vegas?
I've been to California once or twice.
Okay, all right.
So
drive across Texas. Sun goes down. Sun comes up. Still in Texas. Oh yeah.
Yep.
I went from. I did a show from Oklahoma City to El Paso, and I actually drove to Dallas and then flew to El Paso. I said, fuck it. I got a last minute flight. So I'm not fucking driving it.
I feel like the good part about Texas, though, is that even though it takes a long time to drive through, there's still delicious food everywhere you go.
A lot of good food in Texas. There's kind of a German area down just like north of San Antonio with some fantastic European bakeries and shit that you wouldn't expect. Of course,
around New Braunfels, I think it is.
Yep.
It's like that. My cousin lived there.
There you go. Of course, Texas, Oklahoma have the best jokes. What's the best thing to come out of Texas? I-35. And it works the other way. And we say best thing to come out of Oklahoma. So anyway, anything surprised you yesterday, Scott, as far as the basketball goes?
No, it went kind of the way that I thought it would. I was surprised a little bit at how close Denver was able to keep it for the majority of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Golden State was going to win. Milwaukee game did not surprise me at all. Chicago had no players. We had the farm play on the game. We'll talk about it in a bit, so that worked out. I had the Bucks in that same game parlay minus the 12.5. That got there. Sorry, actually, yeah, we had two farm plays technically, but
yep.
I know you won your play of the day, so let's put it that way. So that game went the way that I thought it would, because Chicago had no Levine, no Caruso. You knew they were going to get their ass kicked when they walked into the building. And the Warriors, I thought, would handle it more easily. Denver didn't go down without a fight, but eventually they went down because, shocker, they fell apart in the fourth quarter again, because it seems like Golden State always finds a quarter to blow it open. They did. They outscored them 32-20 in the fourth, and they won. So overall, no, both teams I thought they were going to win. One, I was a little bit surprised that Denver covered. but not seriously surprised.
Yep, and I talked about that 8.5 being a scary number. I would talk
We
about
set the tease it to 4.5.
almost-
It didn't even get there.
It didn't even get there. No,
Yeah.
it landed 4. So
Well, that's because they gave up that garbage layup with 2 seconds left.
The layup to Jokic with no time left. I'm like, oh, thank God I didn't tease it because I would have been so pissed.
But I mean, what we were talking about before, Scott, was that we thought the turning point of the game was, all of a sudden Jokic got called for fouls. He didn't have any in the first half, and then he turned around and he had 4 in the third quarter.
Yeah.
And then he picked up that one early in the fourth.
Yeah, Curry drew one on him. Truth is, Cousins was great. And I mentioned on the show yesterday that I thought that Cousins prop was way too low. It was at around 6.5 or 7.5. He was walking into 10 every game. And he had a playoff high. You can interpret that any way you want. A career playoff high of 19 points. Tells you how bad the Kings are. Because he didn't make the playoffs with Sacramento.
Really
it seemed like the officiating changed after halftime, because if you looked at the first half of that game, Golden State had a whole bunch of guys with 2 and 3 fouls. And like I said, Jokic didn't have any. And then in the second half, it seemed like it corrected itself because Jokic ended up with 5. I thought Scott Foster was reffing until I looked and saw that he was in Chicago or Milwaukee for the Bucks game.
It tells you how good or bad Scott Foster was in that game that I didn't even know he was reffing in the Chicago game because it genuinely didn't matter. Right. It really mattered. I mean, Giannis had like 30 points at the half. The game was over. It didn't really matter.
Nathan Cerna says Doc Rivers says he needs more from James Harden.
I thought Embiid said that.
I will tell you what I used to tell people in the casino when I would leave the table. Good luck.
Mm.
That's how I feel.
Did you used to always do the hand gesture with the hands going out?
Yeah, you have to. You have to clear your hands.
Oh, you have to?
Yeah, that's absolutely.
I didn't know that was a requirement. I thought that was just like some shtick that all the dealers.
No, it's a fucking requirement to show that you're not.
To show you're not smuggling cards underneath your
chips,
whatever.
Taking chips. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was a thing. Okay, cool.
I was sitting box at a craps table one time, and I had a buddy of mine come in who was a magician, like a stage magician.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, if you wanted to, how much could you steal off of this table? He goes, as much as I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
As far as just
Like,
posting bets and doing
I could steal the whole table if I wanted to.
He said, "What table?" And it was fucking gone. It was amazing. So let's talk a little bit about what happened yesterday, shall we? Chris, you want to stick around for the good news and the bad news?
Sure.
All right, very good. We're going to get it started. By the way, of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. I always talk about that, so smash that like button. We know we got people watching. So do your thing, do your part, people. Help us out. We appreciate it. And let's talk about what happened yesterday. Who the winners and the whiners were, who took it in the shorts, and who took it to the bank. These were a very defining type of situation. You know who you are. You're either on one side or the other. And now we're going to let everybody else in the world know. We're going to find out the Thursday edition of Call the Cops. All right, very good. That's the sound you'll never hear in Montana when you're speeding, by the way. Hey, if you had Aaron Gordon over 15.5 points last night for the Warriors, you thought you were locked in. Don't lie. Don't lie, because he had 15 points in the first quarter and a half. With 5:27 left in the second quarter, he was sitting at 15. Hey, Scott, how many did he end up with?
15.
That's not good. That's not good at all. For 2.5 quarters, you couldn't run into a fucking layup, a free throw, a long-range bomb at the butt. Nothing. You'll get nothing and like it. Aaron Gordon over 15.5. Seriously, get out your phone. That's 911. That's not even the non-emergency line. Call 911 and tell them you have been fucking ripped off.
And for the second one, the most dangerous term in hockey or sports that we throw around is the must-win angle. And you had the Stars on the money line at minus 475 against the Coyotes. Well, they had to have it. They had to have it for about 3 periods because they needed 1 point. But you're up 3-0 against the worst team in the league with less than 17 minutes to go. All you have to do is not implode. They imploded. They lost in overtime. Now, the bright side, I guess, is that Vegas lost 2, so the Stars got in. But, I mean, you blow a 3-0 lead to the worst team in hockey. Too. At home, you blow a 3-goal lead in 17 minutes at home? That's brutal.
Especially to the Coyotes, who have struggled all year to put the puck in the net.
Yeah, that's rough.
I was disappointed because I watched a good chunk of that game. I said, well, it's 3-0. Arizona's not going to do anything.
Of course not.
We've faded them all season. And then all of a sudden, Harry Sateri channeled the fact that he thought he was Jacques Plante or Bernie Parent in his prime and Dallas just forgot that they had to play 3 periods.
Yeah,
Same thing happened with the Rangers, really, too, because they struggled the whole game against Montreal.
Rangers are a bit different, though, because since they lost to Carolina, they basically were already locked into the 2 spot, give or take, in that division, because Carolina's going to win the Metropolitan anyway.
Yeah, but you don't want to go in losing to Montreal.
Yeah, it's not a good look, but I'm saying you can argue Dallas. It's not even an argument. Dallas just had a lot more to play for than New York did in those.
That's true. I will say that.
It was a must win. It must win.
It was a must tie, actually, because Dallas got in with the tie, but 3-0 against the worst team. That I got to assume you're good there 98% of the time.
You suck. We're gonna put them in Vegas in the must win Hall of Fame.
We'll get to Vegas in a bit because that's a whole separate can of worms.
Bag of dicks. All right, here we go. Let's finish it up. If you had the Cubs Braves over 8.5,
under 8.5.
Excuse me, under 8. Oh, that's right. You means under. My bad. If you had the under 8.5, they had 6 runs in the first 9 innings, tied up at 3-3. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Well, you got room. You got room. You can score a couple there in the 10th. You'll still be fine. No, you know what you can't do? You can't score 3. Holy shit! The Cubs break up the Cubs in that miraculous offense. They scored 3 runs in the top of the 10th. They go on to a 6-3 victory. The game lands 9.
Well, yeah. Did you see how that happened? They had Contreras on third when it was 4-3, and it was a 3-2 count, and Matzik threw a 94-mile-an-hour meatball belt high over the middle of the plate.
Hey, I know you're new to this show. You've got to let me finish with call the cops, and then you can talk. Jesus.
No, that's not the way things work.
You're blowing my flow, man.
Well, congratulations. You did it on my show, so it's called returning the favor.
Flow, you say? Anyway, call the cops.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't throw a pitch like that. I mean, Reichel could have hit that ball 430 feet.
They don't call it undertime.
They don't call it undertime.
Yeah.
We've been roasting you pretty well on Chris's show. Would you check out Just Parlays today, Scott?
No, I did not.
All right, there you go.
So the no cashed again.
That's right. The minus 800 pays off. We told you.
I was doing a bunch of podcasts today.
Yeah,
sorry, I was busy.
No one cares. All right. So there was some good news out there. I'm sure these are all the ones that Scott had because they were winners and they were nice, easy winners. You know who you were. You were kicked back with a fine scotch and a nice cigar. You spent your Wednesday night sitting in the rocking chair. The rocking chair.
There it is.
Would you just record Reichel taking a nap?
That's in real time, too.
He asked me to send in the recording of me sleeping. It was a very awkward process. But either way, if you had the Bucks first half minus 7.5 against the Bulls, they led by 16 after the first quarter. You knew Chicago really had nothing, and based on just the talent on the court or the lack thereof, and the Bucks led by 18 at the half.
Very good. If you had the Nuggets Warriors under 226, first quarter had 56, and then that was pretty much the high water mark as that game landed 200 even. They put up 144 in the last 3 quarters. That's not good. If you had the under 226, you were in nice shape there. You were sitting in the rocking chair.
So my question for you is, if I had in the actual sheet that each quarter had less than 56 points,
and I said,
how did you assume that they had 56 points in the first quarter?
I had 55. Sorry.
There you go. Damn right. Okay. Now looking at the last,
I knew the first quarter was the highest scoring quarter.
Yeah, just saying.
You know why? Because I had the over in this game. So fuck off.
All right. And
I was surprised that game was that low scoring, honestly.
Yeah, I thought it'd pick up a little bit, but Denver took the air out of the ball, and Golden State really struggled from the 3-point line for the majority of the game. But if you had the over 7.5 in the Mets-Cardinals game, or if you had the over in players that left the bullpen, you had a nice easy winner because you had 12 runs in the first 4 innings, and then the game landed 15.
It looked like that. Was it the Brad Pitt zombie movie?
World War Z.
World War Z. Yeah, that's what it looked like. Those guys scrambling over the bullpen wall. Looked like the fucking zombies scaling the wall there in that movie.
I know you're not supposed to throw a pitch up there because of what happened previously. I didn't think that pitch to Arenado was close.
Yeah, we talked about that. I saw a tweet where somebody called it a 4 on the scale.
Angel Hernandez would have called it a strike.
Okay, that's a separate point.
Punched him out. The strikes were recalled. Yeah, I didn't think it was. Although, and I will say, in fairness, he didn't charge the mound. He just told him to knock it the fuck off.
Yeah, and then you know, whatever. I don't get the Alonso comments after Like I could send somebody to the hospital. Did somebody ask you?
What did he say? I like turtles.
Alonso basically just said, if somebody wants to start stuff with me, I can put them in the hospital, no problem. I'm like, who's talking to you? What are you talking about?
To quote,
Well, don't forget he got plugged in the head.
He got plugged twice in the head already, but I don't know what his comments are supposed to do about the situation. Like, thank God Alonso showed restraint.
And
Like,
Samuel L. Jackson would say, I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Pretty much. Like, Alonso just
Say
goes,
what
yeah,
again?
I can injure some people. It's like, that's cool for you. Did somebody ask you if you were going to injure people? Like, I don't really understand the reason for that quote, but whatever.
Cool story, bro. Sounds like a threat, man.
Mhm.
Unsafe work environment. I'm suing somebody.
This isn't Nam. There are rules here, man.
All right. So, Scott,
you know which movie that's from?
What was it? Is that it's a not Kingpin. It's
very, very close.
The Big Lebowski.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. The other bowling movie.
You need a toe? I can get you a toe in 20 minutes.
All right, we did touch on this a little bit. Let's find out who it is. It was a must-win situation, so we had to be disappointed. We're not mad because we didn't have any money on him, but for God's sakes, you gotta be disappointed in this performance. Scott, the Vegas Golden Knights went into last night's action needing a victory to stay alive in the playoff hunt. How'd that go for them?
Didn't go well. We said on the air that there's no way we were going to lay 220 with Vegas.
Nope.
And they lost in a shootout. The shootout performances the last two nights, not good. They played against Dallas in a must-win game.
Now, wait. Go ahead. You say the last part, and then I'm going to...
They went 0 for 7 in the shootout. They lost 1-0 in the shootout.
How'd they do last night?
They went 0 for 7. They lost 1-0 in the shootout. So the last two games, they went 0 for 14 in shootout attempts, which is next level bad. To go through the last 5 games, all must win. They lost to New Jersey at home as minus 330 favorites.
Yep.
They beat Washington in overtime.
Oh,
they blew a 2-goal lead against San Jose in the final 2:06.
Had to have that.
They lost in a shootout.
Yep.
They went scoreless in 7 shootout attempts against Dallas.
Couldn't lose.
And they went scoreless in 7 shootout attempts against Chicago.
That was a must-win.
Oof. That is not good. That is really not good.
Scott and I will joke a little bit when we see a bad pitcher or somebody bad in the NFL, like, well, I could do that. Well, I could. Well, of course, it's usually bullshit because we're not striking somebody out. We're not getting a hit off even a bad pitcher. But I'll tell you what we could do, Scott. We could go 0 for 14 in shootouts. We could absolutely.
That is so bad. They weren't even close.
He's heading the wrong way. Wrong goal.
I think Marchessault hit the post on one, but other than that, they weren't even making moves. It was just awful.
Just not good. Not good at all. So
on the plus side, Jack Eichel gets to miss the playoffs again.
Yeah. Some things stay the same.
So there's that. There you go. All right, let's check in with folks in the comment section. Joe Kryptonite. I don't remember seeing Joe Kryptonite very often, so it's good to see Joe. James Mounts like Bogdanovich under 25.5 PRA. What do you think about that, bud?
I mean, it's mostly points. The thing about Bogdanovich is that I don't even know if he is the worst defender on the team right now because Mitchell's playing at 50%, but he's an awful defender. So you might look at some foul trouble if Boyan's going to have to guard every pick and roll and probably end up guarding Doncic about 80% of the time. Then I think foul trouble could get in the way. He also went 0 for last game, which isn't exactly ideal. I don't mind it. It's mostly points related, but since he's not going to get you many rebounds and assists, then you're kind of getting some extra value for it. I don't mind it because he might get into foul trouble pretty early.
Okay. Raptors Mavs Moneyline parlay. Let's get this bag, says Joe. Okay.
I mean, I have both plays for YouTube videos, so I'm on board.
I can see that. Absolutely. Nathan Cerna all in on the Mavs. Mavs first quarter, Mavs first half, Mavs full game. Raptors first, Raptors half, Raptors full game.
You hear about Rudy Gobert today, by the way?
No, what happened?
He got stung by a bee.
Okay.
Just in the face somewhere. He's going to play, but it seems like everything's just going wrong for Utah right now, doesn't it?
Everything's coming up Millhouse.
I still don't understand why they haven't played Rudy Gay in the series. I mean, he's a lot better than Eric Paschall and
I'm not
Juancho Hernan Gomez, and I'm not a Daniel House guy either. I didn't understand why they picked him up in the first place. I mean, Gay, he's played in the playoffs. He's got rings and everything. Why play him in the regular season to put him on the bench?
Rudy Gay has a ring?
Pretty sure he does.
Not a championship ring. He just has a nice ring.
Yeah, he has a ring.
I was gonna say I don't know if he won a title or not, but I think Dallas is gonna win. It was my play of the day from yesterday. Utah at home in this series lost to a Dallas team with no Luka, and they had a miraculous comeback in the final minute because Powell missed 2 free throws.
Right.
Dallas has looked pretty good.
Yep.
Utah offensively scored 70 and change last game, 3 for 30 from 3.
77.
They have no shot creators. Their 2 shot creators off the dribble are Mitchell and Clarkson, and Mitchell's injured. So I don't know if Mitchell's going to play, but what is he, 50%?
Yeah, I'd say probably maybe 60, 65% at best, probably.
If Utah gets to 100, I will be shocked. I'm assuming they'll finish somewhere in the low 90s, maybe even high 80s. Dallas should do enough to score. I think Dallas gets to 100.
Dallas defense has been great all season. Hey, Didi's asking about a parlay with the under in the Angels, Guardians, and the Cardinals. So, Chris, I know we already talked about the Cardinals on your show.
Correct.
Big fan of St. Louis there. Is that another one that's just getting rolling?
No, the Cardinals game doesn't start till...
That's a night game. Okay, good.
Yeah, it's the 7:45 game. It's the latest start.
Cleveland and the Angels, that's a 4:07. So that's an afternoon game. And that's Quantrell. We talked about that as well. We talked a little bit about Quantrell. He's kind of been a mixed bag this season. Detmers has not been a mixed bag. He's been a bag of shit, pretty much. 6.57 ERA, 1.3 WHIP. So he's been kind of victimized by untimely pitching. How are we feeling about the total in this one, Scott? I know Chris and I have talked about it. When you want to weigh in?
I don't really have much of a thought. I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think the Angels have the better offense, but Detmers can't pitch. So, I guess the question is, do you want to take a team total over with the Guardians when their offense is inconsistent and you've had some low-scoring games this season as a whole? Or do you take the Guardians on the money line and hope Detmers blows up and Quantrill can do enough to keep this offense in check?
Yeah, this Cleveland offense is very weird because it's kind of been an absolute feast or famine. They're either putting up 11 or they're putting up 1 or 2. So, and the pitching has been inconsistent. I think there's too many possibilities for teams to score runs against bad pitchers there. I don't love the under. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It is 8.5. So, that's
inning draw potential.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and just look at what they did yesterday when there was a better pitcher on the mound,
Mm-hmm. Suns and Raptors is Bruce is checking in. By the way, hello to Nicholas Lee. I know Nicholas is pretty new to the show. Good to have Nicholas back. Good to have you in the house, buddy. Talked a little bit about the Raptors. Suns. Scott, what do you out of the Suns tonight?
Props to them. I know both of us had the Pelicans plus 6.5 in the last game, and the Suns looked good. Truth is, New Orleans couldn't hit a shot, but Mikal Bridges was a big reason why. Opposing players went 3 for 17 against him from the floor, and he had 31 points. It was a phenomenal performance by a very, very good 3-and-D guy, but the Suns still have problems generating easy shots. Now, they played faster, which I think helped them in the last game. They got more up-tempo. They got a lot of open looks. Chris Paul did Chris Paul things, and they ended up winning the game. But the one concern I have with New Orleans right now is Brandon Ingram's hand. We saw him grabbing it a bit in the final couple minutes. He missed a couple of free throws, and it seemed like he was shaking it out. He was grabbing it on defense. I kind of want an update on what's going on with the hand-wrist. But I do think Phoenix will close it out. It's not going to be easy. I'm not going to bet it because I do think New Orleans and Phoenix are pretty close. But it seems like Phoenix might have found something playing a bit more up-tempo. They also tried to use Ayton and McGee together for a couple of minutes there, which I thought helped in the last game. I'm going to go with Phoenix in a close game.
Okay.
You?
I'm going to lean the other way. I'll take the home team and the points. Again, I think they're pretty evenly matched. I do worry about Ingram's hand. He's not on the injury report, so...
Well, he's going to play. You could tell there was some discomfort there late.
Right. Jim says it's the three amigos together. You guys know the...
Cool.
That's the... What a terrible movie.
It was bad.
Such great talent, just completely wasted. Devin Booker might come back tonight. Bruce, we talked about that on Chris's show.
I don't think
and
so.
he has officially been ruled out for tonight. Is that that's what I'm seeing? You guys?
Yeah, that's what the reports were earlier this afternoon.
Okay.
For me, I'm assuming Booker plays in an elimination winner go home game 7, but I wasn't expecting him to play game 6 anyway.
Joe says I wouldn't bet the Suns at that price on the road without Booker. Paul needs some rest, and the Pelicans could have a shot to bring it to game 7. I totally agree with all of that, and that's why I'm kind of leaning towards the Pelicans at home. I think they'll be fired up, and I'd at least play them first half. I like fast starts for home teams. First quarter, first half, as they come out, they're fired up and they got the adrenaline before reality sets in and the grind kind of takes over. But I don't mind a first quarter, first half play on the Pels there.
Yeah. By the way, quick shout out to Jay Crowder. He actually made a 3-pointer last game. I'm proud of him. He was awful the first couple of games. He couldn't hit a shot to save his life, but it seems like he's back on track now.
Okay. Very good. Scott, this is getaway day, of course, in the MLB, so we don't have a lot of options, a lot of games already underway. Of the games that are still to come, and I told Chris this is the usual show. Is I go through and I tell you all these baseball games I like, and then you tell me that one started 45 minutes ago and they're now in the 4th inning. So, what do you see that's on the board that you still have a chance to bet? You got the Cubs, Braves, you got the Cardinals, and the Diamondbacks. You've got
there's only 3 games left.
You got the Angels, Cleveland. Now you got 4.
Hey, look, got that Nerfy panned out for Boston, Toronto.
Oh, did it hit?
Yep.
Nice.
What was that price at?
I made that bet. 120.
Plus or minus?
Minus.
Okay.
I loaded up. We did that during the show. It's already been a profitable show for me.
Well, Manoah's good. Who's pitching for Boston?
Whitlock.
Oh, okay. Well, Whitlock's money. So.
He's been fantastic. he doesn't go long, so
yeah,
we'll see what happens with the rest of the game. But definitely like the Nerfy there. Steamroller, the Suns -1.5. Suns don't want to extend this series. I agree, Nathan.
Pelicans also don't want to go home, so I don't know if "want's" the right word I'll use.
Is it a must-win
for who?
Well, I know it's a must-win for New Orleans.
I'm not a math major, but it's a must-win for New Orleans, and it's
is it a must-win for Phoenix to keep from going back to Phoenix?
I think it'll help, but no.
They don't have to drive, right?
I believe they fly places now.
They don't have to make that hellacious drive. James S. says this morning on the report it said questionable for Booker. Now it says probable.
The NBA injury report from the league office still has him listed as out.
I don't think he's going to play.
You guys talk. I'll do a little deeper diving here as you guys talk about a little baseball. Scott, what do you got? Baseball tonight. What are you liking?
Well, there's only 3 games.
I know.
The Guardians, Angels,
so he wants to know what you like about those 3
Cubs,
games.
Braves, and I see the Diamondbacks, Cardinals. If I was picking anything, I think I'd blindly take the Cubs. I know that Wright's been good. He's actually been very good. He's got a 1.06 ERA. I just don't trust an 8-11 team laying -215. And Smiley, for whatever reason, has actually been okay. I know Acuna's supposed to be back, so that's going to be a boost to the lineup. I believe he's playing today.
The last I saw, he was not. Let me double check that.
I know he was activated.
I know he's active, so I assumed he was going to play.
Right. I don't think he's quite ready. Let me double check that. Go ahead.
But for me, do you want to lay 215 with an 8-11 team? Because I don't. I don't really like anything of those 3 games, but for value, Cubs reverse run line +1.5. I don't mind it.
I was also looking at Wright under 6.5 strikeouts there.
Okay.
Because the Cubs have the 3rd fewest strikeouts in the National League.
Yep.
They're not very good, but they make contact. That counts.
Right.
Yeah. Atlanta. Acuna will be back tonight, looks like. Rosario is out. Of course, he's been awful. He's going
to be out, 8 to 12 weeks or something like that.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Well, he wouldn't be playing anyway, right? Because Smiley's a lefty.
Probably not. Yeah. At best, they're going to platoon him for sure.
And there's Pittsburgh doing Pittsburgh things. They just blew a lead in the 9th.
Oh, there's a shocker.
They were up 2-1. Freddie Peralta got a no decision after throwing 6 scoreless innings for Milwaukee.
That's not a Pirates thing, though, because they're never winning in the 9th inning.
Fair enough.
But they did blow it.
Yep, they did. Booker could return. Expected to be listed out for Game 6.
I don't think he's going to play.
That's a Woj report. Yeah, keep your eye on that because that could make a hell of a difference.
If Phoenix was down 3-2, I think he'd play. But since they're up 3-2, I think they bought him an extra day or 2.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see how that goes. We'll see if
the updated injury report from the league as of 3:30, so in the last 5 minutes, still has him listed as out.
Okay. All right. Very good. And that's a huge deal because he's the only one who's making 3-pointers on a team right now. So, the money play in this series has been Chris Paul under number of 3-pointers made.
I saw it was at 1.5 again. I believe he's made 1 in the last 3 games combined.
Yep, that's correct. That's correct. He has not cashed in any of those the over in any of those games. So,
which is weird because he had that stretch right at the beginning of game one, or beginning of the fourth quarter of game one, where he was knocking down everything.
Yeah.
Nicholas Lee wants to know what we said about the NBA changing the baby's diapers.
Well, I have 2 of the plays for my play today. So I got the Mavericks and I have the Raptors. I'm leaning Suns. Do we agree on those? I know you like New Orleans. Do you agree about the other 2?
Yeah. I don't think Philadelphia can score, so I think that's a possible problem.
Yeah.
As far as the other one goes, I
don't think Utah's any good.
No. I keep writing them off, and they keep surprising me. But I think Utah.
But they keep surprising you. They scored 77 points last game.
Well, no, I meant I thought it would be over before that. I thought once Luka came back, I thought it would be over, and they were able to steal a game against Luka. That's I'm
just saying they've won 1 game since he came back. It's not like Utah's playing well.
No, I understand. But no, it was a 1-point win. No, I get it. I thought once the way they had looked early, I thought once Luka came back, it was over. So for them to get 1, yeah, they were awful last time out, putting up 77. So
yeah.
I can't get behind this Utah team at all, so I'm with you there.
Chris, what do you think?
No, I agree with Scott. We talked about it. I took Utah under 104.5. I don't think that, especially with Mitchell hurt, Conley's done nothing.
They need Clarkson to go for 30, basically. I mean,
they need Clarkson to go for about 35 because I don't think Mitchell's going to put up probably more than 15 or 20 points, and that's being generous with the fact that he's injured.
His point prop was like 25.5. I don't know how it was 25.5. I don't know if
because people are idiots. And somebody will look at it and say, "Hey, yeah, he scores all the points all the time, so we'll just take the over," and then it's just free money for the books,
Yeah.
Nicholas says Mavs money line, Raptors money line, good plays. Well, we won't know till later, but
that's what I got.
I think going in, we agree that those look like the best plays. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, to your point, Scott, I said I told you before that I'm surprised that they didn't try to go inside with Gobert because Gobert offensively, he may not make a ton of free throws, but you can get guys in foul trouble instead of trying to jack up all these perimeter shots.
I just don't know what Utah's supposed to do if Mitchell can't create any separation off the dribble. They don't have anything.
Right.
Yep, that's absolutely true. Nathan's still upset. He talked about it last show. He knew he would be punished for not betting the Twins. You can't beat yourself. Number one, you can never beat yourself up for bets you didn't make. That's not the way it works. It's not the way to keep your sanity.
But look at the bright side, Nathan. If you had bet the Yankee or the Orioles, like you were talking about, now they're behind 5-2. So
no, he had them race to 2.
Oh, that's right.
He didn't have them win. He just had the race to 2 runs. So.
Way to make him feel worse.
I was trying to.
He was trying to help. Yeah, Chris was trying to help him out.
What's your play of the day tonight, Scott?
My play of the day is the Raptors.
Money line?
I have the Raptors plus 1.5.
Okay. I've got Cubs Braves first 5 under 4.5. I don't like it as well with Acuna coming back, but I still think that's solid. I Smiley and Wright. It pained me to write it, but they've both been really good. Smiley hasn't given up a run on the road yet. I think Kyle Wright has been the most surprising to me, even though he pitched well in the World Series after spending most of the season in the minors last year. He came in and had a great appearance there in the World Series, and he's been fantastic. Leads the National League in strikeouts. So if you had Kyle Wright to lead the league in strikeouts, you're getting a good price and you're in good shape. So there you go. You can't lose what you never had.
But I mean, look who he faced though. He faced the Reds, the Padres, and the Marlins.
I understand.
2 of those teams can't hit.
Yeah, but why are you trying to add context to his argument to make him look worse? I mean, come on.
Because that's what he does all the time.
Not how this show works, mister.
That's how you work it on every other show.
You're a guest in our house.
For the record, by the way, I saw somebody mentioning in the comment section that Utah seems like a trap line because they're -1. I would actually believe that if Utah wasn't being mispriced in every single game of this series. They covered game 1, barely, I think by a hook. It got a little bit lucky there. They've gone 0 for ever since. It's really, really weird. The odds makers had Dallas as a 2.5-point favorite last game at home. They won by 25. The odds makers have just been awful at breaking down the series. They haven't been close.
Mm-mm.
And what's weird is the line on that game is bouncing all over the place because depending on which book you look at, the line's anywhere from, like you said, Utah by 1.5 to Dallas by 1.5, depending on the book.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have a clue where they want to go.
John says too much talk about the Raptors game. He's going 76ers. Okay. All right.
I'm not going to tell you that the 76ers are automatically going to lose, but I like the adjustments Toronto made, and I still think Harden's going to need some surgery during the offseason because he can't move. Embiid has really struggled both with his finger and stamina-wise. Achua's kind of dominated the last couple of games. Achua's been really good, and the return of Scotty Barnes has made them great defensively. I think Toronto is a serious problem right now because they're good at home and they're really good defensively.
Let me ask you this. I'll ask both of you guys. Would you rather have Scotty Barnes or Fred VanVleet in the lineup?
Barnes.
Yeah, I would go with Barnes. He's, we talked the other day about how VanVleet is a sieve defensively, and Barnes gives you length, plus he can handle the ball and get your rebounds too.
All YouTube free picks saying Raptors, and he's not falling for it again.
I don't mind you going contrarian. I'm not saying it's a lock, but I personally think Toronto at home will rise to the occasion.
Well, here, let's solve the problem. Maybe he should just throw us some money for the show, and then it's not free.
Oh, well played.
All right. Any final thoughts before we get to it, boys?
Not really. I'm just hoping for some good games tonight. All the spreads are close, so they should be pretty good. But I don't know. Did you think the comments by Doc Rivers were a bit weird?
I thought, yes. I thought it was a little defensive, and
he was throwing players under the bus from his Orlando team like 18 years ago. Like, what was that about?
It's about Doc wanting to keep the reputation of Doc.
That was so funny, though. He's going through the games. Like, did you see that roster? I did a great coaching job. He actually said I did a great coaching job. And I'm just like, wow, you are inflating your ego really hard right now. But Danny Green also had some comments saying we have to win. We have to close this out. We need to whatever. And I'm like, oh, you sound really nervous right now.
That's not good.
Like, that is not what you want to hear.
Superfly brings up a great point. And I think, John, more to your point about talking about the 76ers in Toronto, where everybody's on Toronto, I think Superfly sums it up. He says, I think Philly is the better team, but injuries and mental demons might cause an upset, especially in Toronto. I think you've exactly hit the nail on the head. When you've got Embiid at less than, certainly less than 100%, what would you put Embiid at? 60%, 65% right now?
He's looked awful in the second half of these games, either with stamina or the finger. But I got to assume at this stage in the series, with the mileage they're putting on him and the fact that he's involved in basically every pick and roll, he's probably at 65 right now. He looks like he's really lumbering up and down the court almost every single possession, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really did. Jim Williams says Doc was having a senior moment. Yeah, it did. It looked like a lot like Old Man Yells at Clouds. It really
made me laugh. It was just like, did you see my team? It's like, are you really throwing like people that retired 15 years ago under the bus? Like, really?
Yeah. Right. Joe says he laughed watching that interview. Yeah, I did too.
It was funny, but I was laughing at him, not with him. That's how I would describe it.
Oh, you've been a big Doc Rivers fan for a long time, right, Scott?
I think he's the most overrated coach in the history of basketball. But if he actually loses this series, then he's not even overrated anymore because everyone just thinks he's going to suck, right? I mean, can you blow that many 3-1 leads and a 3-0 lead and still be viewed as a top 20 coach of all time?
Did a great coaching job. Did a great coaching job.
I can't wait for him to throw his team under the bus. Look at the roster 20 years from now.
If you're going to blow those kinds of leads, you better have 5 or 6 fucking rings.
Just saying, he's going to be a Hall of Famer no matter what because of the wins. He's going to finish top 10 in wins. But you blow that many leads, I do question if you were just handed a bunch of talented rosters. Just saying.
Did you see the Pistons roster? What are you talking about?
He said they won the title. They did not win the title. I believe they won the title the year after, but that's a separate story.
There you go. JC Stone said, I'm giving Embiid the finger.
Okay.
He needs one because the one he has right now is pretty fucked up. So if you've got a good finger, I'm sure he'd take it. All right, boys, let's get to it. Scott, it is Thursday. It is time. Chris, did you bring your hat? I'm just kidding. You always have your hat on.
Exactly.
Don't reach yet. Don't reach.
I don't need to
don't reach yet.
I'm not doing anything. I'm waiting for
Okay.
the sound effect.
Okay, very good. Hey, guys, you know what time it is. Time to put on your overalls. Strap them up tight. Put on your, you know what? It's fucking Thursday. You don't have to put on your good overalls. Just put on those old work overalls. Put on your straw hat. Climb aboard your John Deere. Get your keychain out with your lucky rabbit's foot. Kiss that rabbit's foot. We're going to get another win here tonight because once again, kids, you know what time it is. It is time to bet the farm. Sorry, I had the string in front of my face there for a second. All right. Yeah. We both look so bad in these hats, man. And for different reasons.
Rachel just looks like an Amish guy.
I look like I ought to be out on the beach with a metal detector.
And you look like you're trying to be Greg Norman.
That works.
Very good.
I made the call that I look like I'm a tourist visiting Vietnam.
Oh, that's solid. That's absolutely solid. All right, Scott. I know we had a bet the farm play yesterday, and how'd that do?
So we ended up having another team total under. We ended up having the team total under in the Bulls game, and for some reason it turned into a sweat. Actually, wait, we didn't have that. We had the Bucks spread because we changed it at the last minute. We won both. Whatever. We won the farm.
And they both turned into a sweat. Yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations. It's time to cue the banjos.
What is this, Deliverance?
Yeah. I forgot we switched the farm at the last minute.
We have money to spend on the Deliverance theme song? Are you fucking kidding me? That's some random guy that we bought that for $5.
Yeah.
Playing the banjo.
I forgot what the farm play was. We had two separate ones that we switched mid-show, but they both got there. So
that's right.
That counts.
That's how good we are. We switched it and they both got home. So what do we got cooked up for today?
Well, I know we have notes on one game, but I'm going to give you a chance to audible because we audibled yesterday. Do you want the Sixers or do you want the Jazz? I'll let you pick.
No, I like the one. I like the one that I already have the notes all loaded up for.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. We're going to go with the Philadelphia 76ers team total. Under.
People are not used to seeing indecision at farm time, Scott. What are you doing?
I'm telling you what it is. It's
okay.
I like both pretty evenly.
All right.
But either way, it's going to be the 76ers team total under 106.5. They've scored less than 103 in regulation in each of the last 3 games. The pace has been non-existent. Philadelphia ranks tied for 26th in pace. Toronto ranks 25th. So you have seen a lot of really ugly half-court slugfest recently. On top of that, Embiid's fingers been giving him some issues because Embiid has scored less than 22 points in each of the last 2 games. And when Embiid's not going and Harden's shooting below 38% from the floor, Philadelphia is going to have a hard time reaching 100. And the under is also 4-0 in the last 4 meetings. This team total's too high. Give us the under.
Embiid's like mama. When Embiid ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. And he's getting the finger tonight. I like that very much. That's a solid play. We got the Philadelphia 76ers team total under 106.5. So that's going to do it for the farm. That's going to do it for the show. We appreciate you guys stopping by once again as we do this show each and every day. Good luck on all of your plays today. Don't forget to check us out here over the weekend. We'll have not just our regular show, but we'll have our NASCAR show as well. That'll be up and running on a Saturday morning, early Saturday morning, probably around midnight, 1 o'clock. So you got something. If you're staying up late and you're drunk, you got something to have a little fun with there. So enjoy that. Hey, Chris, thanks for being here, man. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Scott.
You guys have a great day. Don't forget to stop by and check us out tomorrow. Once again, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Scott and I do our very best to help you in that never-ending journey as we all attempt to head back to